Yeah. So, morning. Um, Today we will discuss, I think, couple of problems with respect to pentagon and hexagon that involve uh, the use of the locus method. So, I hope you are able to see the screen and hear my voice.
Yes, sir.
Let us start with one such problem wherein we need to decide whether locus method is to be used or not, and this is with respect to the pentagonal lamina. So let us take down the statement first. A pentagonal lamina pentagonal lamina having 25 mm edges is placed on one of its corners. One of its corners on HP, such that the perpendicular bisector of the edge bisector of the edge passing through the corner on which the lamina rests, on which the lamina rests is inclined at 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to BP. Draw the top and front views of the lamina. So this is the statement of the problem. You have a pentagonal lamina, 25 mm sides, and it is placed on one of its corners on HP. So it is resting on corner case. So the corner will be on the left side, and the perpendicular bisector of the edge passing through the corner on which it rests. So the bisector passing through the corner on which it is resting on HP, that is inclined at 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to VP. So we need to draw the top and front views of the lamina. So do I have any reference here? Okay. So I'll just show you the 3D view. So in 3D, this is how roughly it's going to look like. So resting on, so this is step one. So the corner under consideration here is A. This is a corner on the left, and this is the resting on corner case. So what is given here is the what is that, perpendicular bisector. Yeah, perpendicular bisector of the edge passing through the corner. So what we are dealing with is this line. This is the perpendicular bisector. The line joining the corner on which it is supposed to rest on HP, that is A, and the midpoint of the opposite side. So you can give some name to it, maybe F. So AF is the perpendicular bisector. So you know the speciality of the bisector. If you say that AF is the perpendicular bisector of the edge CD, then it divides the edge CD into two equal halves. And of course, it is perpendicular to it. That is why the name perpendicular bisector. So AF is the perpendicular bisector of the edge CD. Okay. Now this AF is supposed to be inclined to HP and VP. Okay. So now if I say AF is inclined or the entire plane is inclined, doesn't make any difference. It is one and the same. Okay. So I'll show you how. So I'll keep the corner A on HP, and I'll so it may appear to you that the perpendicular bisector is inclined to HP. Okay, this AF is inclined to HP, but it is not so. If you see the front view, what you will find is the entire lamina is inclined by some angle theta. That theta in this case is 30 degrees. So the point is, whether you incline the entire lamina by an angle theta 30 degrees, or you incline the perpendicular bisector AF by 30 degrees, they are one and the same. The reason being, the perpendicular bisector AF is on the lamina. It is part of the lamina. So if you incline the lamina, it is as good as you are inclining the bisector. If you incline the bisector, it is as good as you are inclining the entire lamina. So it doesn't make any difference here. in this case. Okay. Now, this is your second step, regular. So the point to be noted here is the corner A is on HP. As you can see, A dash is on XY line. The other corners are all above HP because of the inclination. Okay. Now, in the third step, the same perpendicular bisector AF is inclined to VP by some angle. Okay. So maybe, yeah, we can take that angle like this. It's what, 45 degrees? Yes, 45 degrees to VP. So we can take the 45 degree like this, which is of course phi. So both these inclinations are true inclinations because uh, it is very clear that the bisector is inclined at 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to VP. The bisector doesn't appear to be inclined, or the front view of the bisector is not inclined. The top view of the bisector is not inclined. The bisector, the perpendicular bisector is inclined. So we are dealing with true inclinations. Theta 30 degrees, phi 45 degrees. So now um, I'll be rotating this in the anti-clockwise direction. I think by 45 degrees. Yeah, it is 90. So I'll be rotating by 45 degrees and I'll ensure that this AF, the bisector, and this 45-degree line coincide. So basically, I'm trying to incline this bisector AF at 45 degrees. So this is how roughly it may come. So this is the inclination of the bisector at 45 degrees. Now you can see that this bisector is inclined at 45 degrees. It doesn't mean that there is no angle here. This theta is still there. If you see from this view, it may be difficult, but how to show that angle? A bit difficult to show. I think I can show it like this. So this theta is still there. Whatever 30-degree inclination, that is still there. Only thing is AF is aligned at 45 degrees to VP. Okay. And in this condition also, A is on HP, that is a corner A is on HP. So I think if you project roughly, this is how you may get the final front view. A dash, E dash, B dash, C dash, and D dash. So if you join them, this is the rough shape that we'll be getting. in the final front view. Okay, so it is very clear that the corner A is on HP, that is why A dash is on XY line, and this BE and CD are above. You can see B dash, C dash, and C dash, D dash are above XY line. That means this angle theta exists. That is in the front view. I'm getting this as the final front view. So this is just to prove that there is some inclination theta. It is not lying on HP. Okay, and this is the shape you are going to get when you draw it in 2D, the final front view. This is how uh, it looks like in 3D. So now we need to draw the 2D and see whether we get these same projections or not. And also there is one point where we need to decide whether this should be treated like a locus problem or not. So let us start with the 2D drawing. Theta 30 degrees, phi 45 degrees. Both are true inclinations. So now we need to draw the pentagon such a way that the corner A is on the left and the opposite side CD is on the right. So there are many ways. This is one of them. So what you can do is some distance to the right you can start with CD, which is 25 mm long. You can draw a vertical line which is 25 mm long, and this could be C and this could be D. Okay, and then this will be your reference. And now you can draw the other edges which are 25 mm in length at 108 degrees. So maybe one here. One this side. So 108. So this would be B, this would be E. And then you can take a rounder and locate A. So you can measure 25 mm with the rounder, any of the edge lengths. With B as center, radius equal to 25, you can make an arc. With E as center, radius equal to 25, you can cut the arc. You will be getting the corner A. So this way you can draw the pentagon resting on a corner. The final objective is you should get the pentagon correct and the corner A should be on the left side. Okay. Front view, 3 vertical projectors. A dash, B dash, E dash, C dash, D dash. Join. And the length of the front view, whatever length you get, I think it is 38 mm, 37 or 38 mm. Note down this length because the length of the front view and the length of this perpendicular bisector. See, perpendicular bisector will be the line joining the corner A and the midpoint of CD. So midpoint of CD will get at 12.5 mm. So 12.5 mm, you locate the midpoint and join the opposite corner to the midpoint. We can call this as F. So AF is the perpendicular bisector whose length is equal to the length of the front view, 37 mm. Okay. And this AF, as I already told you, divides the edge CD into 2 equal halves of 12.5 mm each. Okay. Second step, incline this front view by angle theta, 30 degrees. So you keep the corner A, that is A dash, on XY line and draw that 30 degrees inclination and place the 37 mm line on this 30 degrees. C dash D dash. Angle is 30 degrees. And please don't forget to locate B dash E dash, which is at a distance of around 14 mm from A dash. Next step, three vertical projectors from the second step front view, and yeah, five horizontal projectors from the first step top view will give you the intersection points to locate the second step top view, which from our experience we know that it will be a truncated pentagon, not a pentagon exactly, it will be a polygon having five sides. Gives the appearance of a pentagon, but actually it is not. So five horizontal. Join or first locate the intersection points A and A dash. This is A dash, sorry, A, top view. So no dash here. And all these projection lines, please draw them as light as possible. Only your front and top view should be dark. So you have A dash and A, B dash and B, this is B, C dash and C, this is C, D dash D, this is D, E dash E, this is E. Join them, you will get the second step, top view. And this point, of course, is F. And AF is again your perpendicular bisector, but um, it is not the same as what you had in the first step. Difference. Okay. So now we need to answer some questions and understand some basic things. That is, in the second step top view, which edge is still in its true length, which is still 25.
DC.
DC.
Yeah, DC is the only edge which was 25, which is 25. None of the other four edges are 25, they are less than 25. That is first point. Second, the length of the perpendicular bisector in the first step, this this is the true length of the bisector. You can write TLB, true length of the bisector, which is equal to 37 mm. Now, if you check the length of the bisector, if you want, you can check it. It is around 32 mm. So it has reduced. So this new length is the apparent length of the bisector, and it is equal to 32. True length is equal to 37. Okay. So this is what has happened in the second step. So the perpendicular bisector has reduced in length. So in the second step, we have got apparent length of the perpendicular bisector. Fine. Now, Third step, you have to mark a point somewhere here, some distance away, maybe somewhere here, I guess, yeah. And see, it is not mandatory that you have to draw from right to left. You have to draw the 45-degree like this only. You can draw 45-degree like this also. It is up to you. So you mark a point here and you draw the 45-degree line, which I need not tell you, this is the true inclination line. So this is the true inclination. What we expect is on the true inclination, you should get the true length. Okay. Now if you read the statement, you are supposed to place the perpendicular bisector 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to VP. Now 30 degrees to HP is not a problem because the true length you have placed it at 30 degrees, that is fine. But 45 degrees to VP, 45 degrees is true inclination, which is 5. On a true inclination, you should get true length of the perpendicular bisector. But is this the true length? This is not the true length of the perpendicular bisector. This is the apparent length. Can you keep an apparent length on a true inclination? You cannot. So this problem has to be solved using the locus method. Okay. So you already know what is the locus method. So first thing you have to do is place a true length on the true inclination. So where is the true length of the perpendicular bisector? Here. How much is it? 37 mm. So this is the first thing that you have to place here. So what you have to do is maybe mark a point, let us say F, because we are dealing with perpendicular bisector. So you mark a point here, some distance below, maybe somewhere here. Mark a point F. Then you know this distance, the true length is 37 mm. So 37 mm below, yeah, you locate A. This is the true length of the bisector, which is 37. And you can name this as A1. So A1F is the true length, this is the true length. Now at A1, you can draw the locus line. Locus of A. Now you measure the apparent length. That is, the apparent length is how much? Around 32 mm. So measure that with your rounder. With F as center, radius equal to the apparent length, that is 32 mm, cut the locus line. So this point would be A, and AF would be your apparent length of the perpendicular bisector, which is 32 mm. Okay, so this is what we want. We want this apparent length of perpendicular bisector because it's as good as you have A and you have F, A and F. So you got 2 points. Now you have to locate 4 points with respect to these 2 points. So you have A, you have F, you have A, F. Now around this you have to locate the remaining points B, C, D and E. Okay, so you can use the rounder and you can locate these points with respect to A and F. For example, uh, let me show you one case wherein let's say I want to locate B. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll find out the distance of B from A. Yeah. So A to B and A to E are same. So what I'll do is from A, I will draw an arc on the left and another arc on the right. Then what I'll do, from F, I will measure the distance to E and B. So E and B, it will be same. So again from F, I'll cut this arc and I'll cut this arc. So this point and this point is what I get. This would be B, this would be E. Okay. Now same way you can locate C and D also with respect to A and F, measure this distance and measure this distance and you can cut it using the arcs, or at F you can draw a perpendicular line, a line perpendicular to AF. So you have to be careful here. You have to draw a line that is perpendicular to AF. So you can use maybe a set square or something. And if you draw a perfectly perpendicular line at F, perpendicular to AF, okay, not A1F, AF, then something can be done. Yes, like this, a line like this, perpendicular to AF. You draw a line. You know that F, to the left of F, 12.5 mm away, you'll get D. To the right of F, 12.5 mm away, you get C, because F is the midpoint of CD. So 12.5, 12.5. So what you do is keep 12.5 here and locate E on one side and C on the other side. So this point is C, this point is D. This is one way. If you don't want to use the rounder, this is one way by which you can locate, but you have to ensure that this line CD is perpendicular to AF. Only then it will be correct. Now you can join all of them and complete the second step top view, repositioned in the third step at 45 degrees. Now you want to go one step ahead and you want to find out what is the beta inclination, that is if you extend AF back to XY line, you can find that out also. And just rub this angle. So what I'll do is I'll extend AF back to XY line like this. So I'll get an inclination here and I'll get an inclination here. So this angle is phi 45 degrees. This angle is beta. Okay, and you can find out that angle. I think it should be around 55 degrees. Let us check it out. Yes, around 55 degrees, 55 or 56 degrees. So beta is 56 degrees. On beta, you will get the apparent length of the perpendicular bisector, and phi is 45 degrees. On phi, you will get the true length of the perpendicular bisector. So this is the locus method which will help you to reposition the second step top view in the third step when you are dealing with placing an apparent length on a inclination. Now it is routine. Draw 5 vertical projectors and 3 horizontal projectors, intersect them, find out the final front view. This of course is your final top view. Draw the projections, locate the intersection points, get the final top view. Three horizontal projectors from the second step front view and 5 vertical projectors. Here again you can have some discipline and project one by one. For example, I'll start with A. I'll draw the vertical projector of A only till where it is required. That is till the projector of A dash, which is still XY line, and I'll locate A dash. Done. Similarly, B. B dash. C. C dash. D. D dash. And E. E dash. Join them and you will be getting the final front. Okay. And if you want to compare it with what we had done in 3D, you can see the shape. More or less same. This was the shape, and this is the shape that we are getting. You want to go one step ahead and find out uh, the angle which this perpendicular bisector makes with HP, that is in the front view. You can do that. What you can do is find out the midpoint of C dash D dash, or best is extend this F, the projector of F, you extend till here. So this of course will be F dash. If you join A dash F dash, you get the front view of the perpendicular bisector, and this angle will be your alpha angle. Definitely alpha will be more than theta, that is 30 degrees. You can check it out. So it's around I think 46 or 47 degrees roughly. So this is going one step ahead, which is not required, but for your information you can. Okay. Now this particular problem, if I just rephrase it by just adding one word, the whole problem is going to change. That is, this perpendicular bisector is inclined at 30 degrees to HP. This is fine. And 45 degrees to EP. If I just add one word here, and appears to be at 45 degrees to VP. So, and appears to be at 45. So, this 45 degree will then become beta. It will not be phi. It will become an apparent inclination. So, then it is straightforward. Apparent inclination, apparent length. This will not be a locus problem. Okay. So, this is how the words, the, the wordings change the entire dynamics of the problem. Okay. So I guess we'll take one more problem similar to this, but with respect to hexagon. I think yesterday we had taken something where yeah, one corner on HP, opposite corner on BP. Now we'll not do that. Yeah, we'll take this particular problem where you have a hexagon and you are dealing with the diagonal. Very similar to this. Here you have a bisector. In hexagon, you have got a diagonal which joins the opposite corners. So the diagonal is inclined to HP and BP. And let's see whether it is a locus problem or not. So I think we'll take that example and solve so that almost all varieties will be covered. So the statement goes like this: hexagonal lamina of 25 mm sides is resting on one of its corners on HP the corner opposite to the corner on which it rests, the corner opposite to the corner on which it rests is 35 mm above HP, is 35 mm above HP, and the diagonal passing through the corner on which it rests is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. Draw its projections and find the inclination of the surface with HP. So this is the statement. So first two steps will be same as what we had done yesterday for the hexagon problem, resting on a corner. Yeah, this one. So first step, you have to draw the hexagon resting on a corner. So the corner under consideration is A. The opposite corner is D. In the second step, you have to incline it. Only thing is, in this case, the angle is not given, but the distance which the opposite corner is above HP, 35 mm, that is given. So basically, the distance D dash from HP, that is given to you. Okay. So let me draw the 2D, sorry, the 3D view, then I think things will be clear. So step one, so this is the first step, resting on corner. The corner under consideration is A. Opposite corner is D. Second step, you have to keep corner A on HP, and you should ensure that the opposite corner D is 35 mm above HP. Yeah. The corner opposite to the corner on which it rests means D is 35 mm above HP. So 35 mm above. Okay, so the corner A is on HP. Since A is on HP, its front view A dash is on XY line, and this is D dash. This is the meaning of the 35. Okay, so the corner D is 35 mm above HP or above XY line. That means D dash. D dash is at a distance of 35 mm above XY line. So instead of giving the angle theta, this distance above XY line or above HP is given. Clear? So what we'll have to do is whatever front view you get in the first step, you have to draw a 35 mm line above and then cut it in 2D. So automatically you'll be getting the angle theta. In the third step, the diagonal passing through the corner on which it rests is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So we are talking about a diagonal. So the diagonal under consideration is AD here. This is a diagonal which joins A and D, the two corners. So AD is the diagonal. So this is inclined to VP by some angle. Okay, that angle is 30 degrees to VP. So what do you think this angle is? Is it phi or is it beta? Is it a true inclination or apparent inclination? The diagonal passing through the corner on which it rests is inclined. The diagonal doesn't appear to be inclined. The top view of the diagonal is not inclined. The diagonal is inclined. So this is a true inclination. Okay. So now we'll see later whether it is a locus problem or not. But as of now, this is phi. So at 30 degrees, you have to ensure that this diagonal is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. You have to incline in such a way that corner A is on HP. Please note that even in this case, the theta angle still remains. Whatever is the angle here, that is still maintained, and the corner A is on HP. So these things don't change. Only thing is the diagonal is inclined at 30 degrees to B. Okay. So this is the 3D part. Uh, we'll see how it needs to be drawn in 2D. So start with the XY line. Okay. Just 1 second, I'll be back.
वही क्या हुआ? आप सुबह कुछ बोल रहे थे ना? वो श्वेता के साथ कुछ बातचीत हुआ था। मैं कल रेडी करके रखा हूँ, बताया ना वो। अब वो डेट तक नॉमिनेशन का।
Okay. So step 1. So you draw the hexagon resting on a corner. So first we'll draw the horizontal line. Or you can draw the lower horizontal line also, it doesn't matter. Then you can keep the other lines at 120 degrees. 120, and this would also be 120. So so this would be A. This would be D, E, F. And then as discussed yesterday, if you draw perfectly vertical lines or use the rounder, and you can locate. Anyway, I'll draw the vertical lines. Then you can use a rounder, fix it to 25 mm. Cut this line, cut this line. This would be B, this would be C. Join them, complete the hexagon. This is the first step, resting on a corner. And what you can do is you can locate the diagonal also, AD. This would be the true length of the diagonal. And I think it is around 50 mm. Yeah, close to 50 mm. Project and get the front view. And as you know, the length of the front view and the length of the diagonal would be same, 50, 50. Second step, the corner A is on HP, so A dash will be on XY line. The angle is not given, theta angle is not given. However, the distance above HP is given, 35 mm. So that is what we'll use. So what you can do is 35 mm above XY line, you can draw a horizontal projector line which is parallel to XY line. Then using the rounder, you can measure this 50 mm, that is the length of the front view, or you can say the length of the diagonal, whatever. 50 mm you can measure. With A dash as center, radius equal to 50. Cut this horizontal projector line, which is at 35 mm. You will get the opposite corner, which is D dash. This length is 35 mm. So by joining A dash and D dash, you will be getting the front view inclined at whatever is the angle. You can find out the angle. This angle will be theta. I think this is asked, yeah. This last sentence, find the inclination of the surface with HP is theta. This inclination has to be found out. And if you measure, you'll get it. So around 45 degrees, is it? Theta is around 45 degrees. And please don't forget to locate the other points also. B dash F dash is around 12.5 mm. And even this is around 12.5 mm. So B dash F dash, C dash E dash. Okay, so this is how by giving the distance, the angle can be found out. Now draw the vertical projections from the front view. And then the horizontal projectors from the top view, they will intersect and give you the second step top view. Mark the intersection points. This is A, B, C, D, E, and F. Yeah. Join them. So we'll get a smaller shrunk hexagon. It's not a hexagon because the edges would be different and also the angle between them would be different. So it is a polygon having 6 sides. It is all because of the inclination. If you measure the edges, how many of these edges are still equal to true length 25? You can check out. This is not 25, this is not, none of them. Because in the second step, none of these 6 edges are parallel to HP. So how can you get the true length? None of the edges are parallel to HP. That is why all the edges will be less than the true length 27. And most importantly, if you measure the length of the diagonal, it is around 36 mm. So this would be the apparent length of the diagonal, 36 mm. So please note, in the second step top view, you are getting the apparent length of the diagonal 36 mm. This first step top view, you are getting the true length of the diagonal 50 mm. Okay. Now, third step, you have to incline this diagonal by 30 degrees. So 30 degree is a true inclination. So what you can do is, you can mark a point, maybe here somewhere on the right side, and incline it at 30 degrees. This 30 degree is the true inclination, phi. And as we know, on the true inclination, you should get the true length of the diagonal. But is it so? Are you getting the true length of the diagonal in the second step? Can you place this apparent length on a true inclination? So this problem also is a locus problem, because in the second step top view you have the apparent length of the diagonal which you cannot keep on a true inclination. So this becomes a locus problem like the previous problem, and it has to be solved using the locus method. So we'll do that. So what we'll do is D is going to come on top. So some distance below you can maybe measure or locate D here. So this could be D. We know AD apparent length is 36 mm. So 36 mm below you can locate A. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not 36, it is 50. Yeah, we are dealing with the locus method. So I'll extend this line. True length of the diagonal is 50 mm. So I have to locate the 50 mm length, because I should place the true length on the true inclination, not apparent length. So 50 mm below, I will be locating A1. A1D is the true length of the diagonal, which is 50 mm. At A1, I will draw the locus line, and then with the rounder, I am going to measure the apparent length of the diagonal, which is 36 mm. With the D as center and radius equal to 36, I will cut this locus line. So I will be getting A here. If I join A and D, I will be getting the apparent length of the diagonal, which is 36 mm. So this AD 36 mm and this AD 36 mm are same. All I have to do is locate D, C, E and F around this A and D. Forget about A1 now. The utility of A1 is gone. Once this locus line is drawn, then you don't require A1 anymore. So everything has to be with respect to A and D. You have to match this AD with this AD. So EF will come here and BC will come here. So this will be the rough shape. So using the protractor, rounder, you can locate. For example, I will locate B and F. So I will first measure the length of A from B and F like this. Yeah. So this length and this length are same. So what I'll do is, with A as center, I will draw an arc to the left and to the right of A. And then with D as center and distance from D to F and D to B, I will cut these arcs here and here. B, F. Similarly, I think with A as center, I will get the same distance roughly. I can draw an arc here and an arc here. And with D as center, This would be C. This would be E. Join them. You
So
will
that
get
E and C points, how to cut? You explain once again.
E and C just like you did F and B. See, these distances are same. Whether you take D to E or A to F, all these distances are same. DE, DC, AB, AF, all the lengths are same. So if I want to locate E and C, all I have to do is from D I have to measure this DE. From D I make an arc here, I make an arc here. Then from A or from any point, it doesn't matter. From A, I will measure this distance. Cut it. Cut it here, cut it here. So basically I am keeping A and D as a reference. So from D I measure these two values, I draw arc here and here. From A I measure these two values, cut it here, cut it here. Join them. So I have redrawn the second step top view in the third step, and if we extend this AD, this is phi 30 degrees, no doubt, but if we extend this apparent length AD back to XY length, and you check out the angle, this angle will be beta angle. It will be around 44 degrees, I think. So around 44 degrees would be your beta angle. So which is correct, because on a true inclination you should have the true length 50 mm. On an apparent inclination you should have the apparent length 36 mm. So this would be your final top view. Now you project and find out the final front view. So 4 horizontal projectors and 6 vertical projectors. So first you draw the 4 horizontal ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And one by one you can draw the 6 vertical projectors. This would be A dash. Okay. B and B dash. Yeah. C and C dash. So I'm only going to extend till that projector. not beyond that. So the projector of C dash is still here. So this is C dash. D and D dash. D I have to extend till the top because D dash is right at the top. E and D dash. F and F dash. Join them. You will be getting pretty odd shape for a hexagon. It will be a polygon which is inclined to the right basically. None of the edges will be equal to true length. None of the included angles will also be equal to 120 degrees. It will be a totally odd shape. And if you want to find out the alpha angle of the diagonal, you can join A dash and D dash. This angle will be alpha and 100% it will be more than 45 degrees. Okay, so this is the final front view. So these are a couple of problems. So you can maybe practice this type of problems, or I can give you some. I think I'll put it up later in the assignment. So almost all the varieties we have solved. Only I think we are left with circular lamina, and maybe one problem. Yeah, one problem will solve on circular lamina, and one will take up where the lamina is resting on BP. So those are the two uh, different types left. So in the Saturday's class, I think we'll finish off with planes. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask or you can leave. And please solve the problems which are given for assignment. 3 problems and another couple I will be giving today. I'll put it up in the assignment.